Okay, I suppose we're live. Okay. Just gonna get done with this, and we're good to go. Okay. Uh, I think we're live now. Hey everyone, welcome back to my second live, and we'll just continue from where we left off. We were solving our Lead Code 75 questions, and I was supposed to speedrun this, but if I'm being really honest, I'll just quit with the jargon. Alright, I suppose I'll just do this 2 pointers. Okay. 283 move zeros. Given an integer array nums, move all zeros to the end of it while maintaining the relative order of non-zero elements. Okay, you must do this in place without making the copy of the array. Okay. Given an integer array nums, move all zeros to the end of it while maintaining the relative order of the non-zero. Okay. So, okay. What does my brain say? What does my brain say? What does my brain say? So my brain kind of says that since we want to move all of these zeros to the end of the array, then okay, this comes first, this comes second. So okay, I feel like one approach of doing this could be to include all of these. Okay, let's start off by making a queue by queue of type integer. This can take integer linked list. I kind of hate Java for this because, come on, man, I really didn't want to write that. So fucking long. But yeah, so okay. Queue is new linked list. Okay, so now we have a queue. Okay, so what are we doing? We're gonna iterate through the array. Is less than the g non-star lim and I plus. Okay, so what are we doing? We're kind of iterating through the array once. And what are we doing on each iteration? Okay, we're gonna check if it is not equal to 0, then we're just gonna add it to the queue. Okay, so if nums I'm just doing what's coming to my mind. I don't know the solution to this question, neither have I put a lot of thought into it, but I'm just doing what's coming to my mind. And this is what's coming to my mind, so I'm just going with it. So if nums I is not equal to 0, then I'm just gonna offer it to the queue. Okay. So by this logic, queue should be, looking at the first degree, I think it should be 1, 3, 12. This should be our queue. And once it is exhausted, whoa, okay, I'm gonna loop over the array another time. That wasn't case less than nums. plus. So this is our second pass on the array, right? But on this pass, what are we gonna do? Okay, we are going to start. Okay. Q dot ball. Okay, if nums. Okay, so what's gonna happen? Okay, so when it starts filling, it's gonna be 1, 3, 12. But at this point, the queue is supposed to be empty. So if is empty, I am just gonna add it's just gonna be 0. Okay, let's see if it works. Oh, sorry. Null pointer exception because the return value of child util is null. Okay, so instead of okay, cannot invoke int value. Is null. Why is it giving a null value? I gotta think about it. Okay. What could be the possible? Okay. So if every value is 0, if that is empty, because I reckon if the queue still remains empty even after adding all of the elements to the queue, then it just means that every single element is 0. Okay, and I don't think so. We have to add this. Okay, let's try this. Q.empty, I'm just gonna return. No, because it's still checking here. If it's empty, then header this queue and returns null if this queue is empty. Retrieves and removes the header of this queue. Okay, so does it? Okay. No such element exception. Wait, what was the answer? If this wasn't a 2-pointer, just think about how we would do get another 2-pointer. Okay, I'll just go off with the queue approach for once. Let's think about it with 2-pointers. So if I have 0, 1, 0, 3, 12, my OCD kicks in. 0, 1, 0, 3, 12. How am I supposed to take these zeros? So if I encounter L plus 1, if L plus 1, if L check for this, if this is not equal to 0, then we're gonna swap these two and essentially it becomes 1, 0, 0, 3, 12. And once that swap happens, we're gonna move left to here, right to here. Now what I want to do is wait. Is my stream running? Oh shoot. Okay. Or we can just, if you want to shift it to the right, right? This was my array. Let's do the left and right like this. If left is equal to 0, then we're going to swap these two, left and right. But that's again going to cause a problem because it's not going to be okay. Let's just think it through. If L is 0, R is 12, then we're going to swap this 12, 1, 0, 3, 0. But I kind of still want to go with the queue approach, even though it says, would it be more efficient if I use the queue approach? I guess not, because we're still using O of 2n, so that's essentially O of n, but still it's two loops. What I am really thinking is, why is the queue not empty, right? Okay. So, what my intuition says is that I have 0, 1, 0, 3, 12. I'll create a queue, like iterating through this. If I encounter a 0, I'm not going to take it, but if I encounter anything apart from 0, I'm going to take it. So here's 0, I'm not going to take this in the queue. I see 1, so I'm going to add this into the queue. I see 0, I'm not going to add this into the queue. I see 3, so I'm going to add this into the queue. I see 12, so I'm going to add this into the queue, and here we have reached the end of num. So this is my queue, right? So if queue is empty at this point, it basically means that even after iterating through the array, we didn't find any non-zero term. So that means the entire array, regardless of its size, is going to be all 0 elements. So we're just going to return from the function. And in the case that it is not empty, it's going to go to this loop. And how does this loop work? Okay. Where's the constructor for this? Sub interfaces, where the implementation also known. Queue linked list. I mean, see, it says that you must do this in place without making a copy of the array. So that's, I mean, oh shit, would I be cheating if I'm doing that? I guess I'll be cheating. Okay, so given an array if I were to do this using, if this wasn't given, that if I couldn't make a copy, then it would have been easy. Make a copy of the array and copy it back if you want to return the original array, or just return the copy of the array. Okay. Swap these two, move left and right forward. R is 0. Oh, okay. So let's initialize left and right like this. If left is 0, R not equal to 0, swap. So that becomes, that gives me 1 0 0 3 12. Now it's here. If both 0 are plus plus, so it's gonna check again. Not equal to 0, then 1 3 0 0. Plus plus 12 So this is L, this is R. Again, the same condition. Okay. Got it. And left is equal to 0, and right is equal to nums length and gth minus 1. Actually, no. We wanted, oops. L plus 1. Okay, what's going to be the race condition? Okay, R has to be less than Y. R is less than nums dot if zero and nums of not equal to 0. R is equal to num L. So swapping on either one. What about the case 1 1 else if nums L is equal to 0 and nums of R is equal to 0, just else just increment both. Let's see if this works. Oh hell no, man. Where did we go wrong? Actually, this is sort of redundant. Nums L is swapped. All right. So the problem was I wasn't okay. So the problem was if I didn't add continue, so it's gonna increment. It's gonna increment the L and R which are here to here, but then it's also gonna check for else if, and somewhere the else if is gonna true and it's gonna increment R and it all gets messed up. But since my logic relies on iterating on each increment of L and R, I'll just continue on each iteration like so. So I'll just give a brief overview of what I did here. Okay, so this was my array 0, 1, 0, 3, 0, 1, 2, 0, 12, 7, 0, 0. Let's take this as an example. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to take L and R here. So basically R is going to accompany 1 like this, and it's going to be L plus 1 always. And then I'm going to check if L and R are different. Like if L is 0 and R is 1, then I'll swap because I want this left value to go to right. So it's going to become 1, 0, 0, 3, 0, 1, 2, 7, 0, 0. So there can be two cases. Actually, there can be three cases where first case is like one of them is 0. It can also be 1, 0. So it's like one of them is 0. The other case can also be where both of them are 0. The other case is where neither of those are 0. So in that case, we're going to move ahead. We're just going to ignore that part, right? So what does this become? I'm incrementing L and R because I've swapped. So L is going to be here, R is going to be here, and it's going to say if both of these are 0, so I'm going to check for the next thing that is not 0. So here we get 5. So this and this gets swapped, so it becomes 1, 3, 0, and this 0 is here, and this 0 goes here. 12. That's a 12, by the way. 7, 0, 0. And we're also going to increment L by 1. L and R here. Then we have the same problem now. So it's going to check with this. Yes, it is a non-zero value, and goes 12, 0, 0, 7, 0, and then it right goes here and L goes here, right? So you know how it works. So this is how it works basically. The left value gets taken to the right side. That's all we're doing. Also, if there was a follow-up where if there wasn't a follow-up where the values are I mean the array is not supposed to be made into a copy, or we don't have to do it in place, so we can just use the queue approach, or better thing, or just use a secondary array. That's a better thing. Queue is a little bit of an overkill. It's not really necessary. So yeah, but then you can see it's a really shitty ass solution to this problem, because there's also another follow-up to this question, which was, could you minimize the total number of operations done? How would you be minimizing the total number of operations done? I really don't have any idea right now. I have to think about it. Okay, maybe I think the problem here. I never understand these solutions. Maybe, okay, so I'll just pin it in the chat. Okay, so where's my video? Okay. Oh, this is a solution I already done. There's also another solution that I've already done. Because I wasn't solving these questions before, uh, like explicitly on this page or following this list. Try to do these. I like how I'm selecting these problems. Okay, let's do this. 2215. I'll just update it in the chat. Which question we're actually doing right now? 2215. Given two zero indexed integer arrays, zero in integer in num1 and num2, return a list, and this is a question for hash norm and hash set. Okay. Return a list, answer size to where 0 is the list of all distinct integers not present in 2. Come on, man. All distinct integers in num2 which are not present in num1. Okay, so if I convert both of these arrays into individual hash sets and then check against if isn't it gonna take for loop?